Sunday dinner at my parents' house had become a weekly exercise in humiliation, but this one was particularly brutal. "Sarah, you're 31 years old," my older brother Marcus said, cutting into his steak with unnecessary aggression. "When are you going to get a real career instead of playing around with that freelance nonsense?" I took a sip of wine and said nothing. "Marcus is right," my father chimed in. "Your brother has a real job. Management consultant at a prestigious firm. Six-figure salary. That's what success looks like." Marcus preened. "Just closed a deal with a Fortune 500 client last week. Biggest account of my career." What my father didn't know was that Marcus made $87,000 a year. What Marcus didn't know was that I knew exactly what he made because I'd been secretly paying his alimony for the past 14 months. I was a ghostwriter. I wrote books for CEOs, celebrities, and business leaders who wanted their names on bestsellers but didn't have the time or talent to actually write them. My last 3 projects had all hit the New York Times bestseller list. I made $520,000 last year. My family thought I did some writing online and barely scraped by. "Sarah doesn't even have an office," my mother said, passing the potatoes. "She works from her apartment in her pajamas. That's not a real job." "They're comfortable clothes, not pajamas," I said quietly. "Whatever you call them," Marcus laughed. "The point is you need structure. Benefits. A 401k. I've been telling you this for years. Come work at my firm. Start as an assistant, work your way up. That's how you build a real career." I was already contributing the maximum to my retirement accounts and had a 7-figure investment portfolio. But I said nothing. My phone buzzed. A text from my literary agent, David. "Just got off the phone with the publisher. They're offering $1.2 million for the next 2 books. Need your answer by Wednesday." I silenced my phone and set it face down on the table. "See? That's another thing," Marcus said, gesturing at my phone. "Always on that phone. Probably checking Facebook or Instagram instead of doing actual work." "I was checking a work email," I said. "Work email," he repeated mockingly. "What work? Writing blog posts? Sarah, you're wasting your potential. You're smart. You could do something real if you just applied yourself." What Marcus also didn't know was that his ex-wife Jennifer had called me 15 months ago, desperate. Marcus had been ordered to pay $12,400 monthly in alimony and child support after their divorce. He couldn't afford it on his salary, not after his car payment, his rent in the expensive downtown loft, his country club membership, and his need to maintain the appearance of success. Jennifer needed the money. He had 2 kids to support. Marcus was 3 months behind. So I'd started paying it. Every month, $12,400 transferred from my account to Jennifer's. Marcus thought it was coming from his account. I'd set it up through a third-party payment service so he'd never know the truth. "Sarah should be more like you, Marcus," my mother said proudly. "You've worked so hard to get where you are." "It's about discipline," Marcus said. "Making sacrifices. Being a professional." Sarah wouldn't understand, she's never had a real job. I'd ghostwritten autobiographies for 3 billionaires, 2 tech CEOs, and a former Secretary of State. One of my books had been optioned for a Netflix series. Another was required reading in business schools. But I said nothing. "How much are you even making with this freelance thing?" my father asked. 30,000? 40. Something like that, I lied. Marcus laughed. "Sarah, I make more than double that. You're struggling while I'm thriving. That's what happens when you have a real career versus playing around on the internet." My phone buzzed again. This time it was my accountant. "Tax planning meeting Thursday. Need to discuss the $520,000 income from last year and projected $800,000 for this year. Capital gains are looking good too." I glanced at the message and pocketed my phone. "Everything okay?" my mother asked. "Just work stuff." "Work," Marcus said with air quotes. "Right." After dinner, I helped my mother clear the dishes while Marcus held court in the living room, telling my father about his latest big deal. "Sarah," my mother said quietly at the sink, "your brother works very hard. Maybe you could learn something from him." "Maybe," I said. What I didn't say was that Marcus's prestigious management consulting firm was a mid-tier company that mostly did PowerPoint presentations for regional businesses. What I didn't say was that his biggest client was a local manufacturing company with 200 employees. What I didn't say was that I'd been keeping him afloat for over a year while he mocked me every Sunday. But that was about to change. Build up. 600 to 800 words. Monday morning I sat at my desk and opened my banking app. There it was, the standing monthly transfer to Jennifer. $12,400, scheduled to process on Friday. I'd paid 14 transfers so far. $173,600 total. Almost a year and a half of covering my brother's obligations while he bragged about his success and belittled my career. I called Jennifer. Sarah. Hi, she answered warmly. Is everything okay? Everything's fine, I said. I wanted to let you know that Friday's payment will be the last one. Silence. Oh, she said finally. Did he figure it out? No. But I'm done subsidizing him while he insults me. You'll need to work out the payments with him directly going forward. Sarah, I understand. You've been more than generous. But the kids. Jennifer, I know. But this isn't about you or the kids. This is about Marcus taking responsibility for his own life. He's been lying to everyone, including himself, about his financial situation. It's time for reality to catch up. He can't afford it, she said quietly. His salary won't cover it. He'll default and I'll have to take him back to court. That's between you and him. I'm sorry, but I can't keep doing this. After I hung up, I felt lighter. 14 months of watching Marcus preen and posture while I secretly kept his life from collapsing. 14 months of listening to him lecture me about real careers, while I paid his bills. It was done. Wednesday evening Marcus called me. Unusual, we rarely spoke outside of family dinners. Hey Sarah. Random question. You know anything about personal finance stuff? Why? I'm looking at my accounts and something seems off. Probably nothing. Just wanted a second opinion. My heart rate picked up. What seems off? My automatic payments. The amounts don't quite match what I thought they'd be. But honestly, I'm terrible with this stuff. I should probably hire an accountant. Yeah, you probably should, I said carefully. Anyway, how's the freelance thing going? Making any money yet? I closed my eyes. It's fine, Marcus. You know, my offer still stands. I could get you an interview at my firm. Entry-level position, but it's a foot in the door. Real salary, real benefits. Better than whatever you're scraping together now. I'll think about it, I lied. Friday morning the payment didn't process. I'd cancelled it Thursday night. Friday afternoon my phone rang. Jennifer. He knows, she said without preamble. Marcus just called me screaming. The payment didn't go through and he doesn't have the money. He's demanding to know what happened. What did you tell him? Nothing yet. But Sarah, he's threatening to call you. To call your parents. He's panicking. Let him panic, I said. He's been living beyond his means and lying about it. Maybe this is what he needs. An hour later Marcus called. Sarah, I need a favor. A big one. What kind of favor? I need to borrow $12,000. It's an emergency. I'll pay you back next month, I swear. What's the emergency? Just something unexpected came up. Family stuff. I can't really explain right now, but I need it by Monday. Marcus, I don't have $12,000 to loan you. Come on, Sarah. I know you don't make much, but you must have some savings. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important. I'm your brother. The audacity was breathtaking. I don't have it, I repeated. Maybe you should talk to Mom and Dad? No. I can't. They can't know about this. Sarah, please. I'm desperate here. I'm sorry, Marcus. I can't help you. I hung up. Sunday dinner was going to be very interesting. Revelation, 300 to 500 words. Sunday arrived. I showed up at my parents' house at exactly 6 p.m. as usual. Marcus's car was already in the driveway. He'd probably arrived early to talk to our parents privately. I walked in to find Marcus, Mom, and Dad in the living room, all looking tense. Sarah, my father said gravely. We need to talk. About what? About your brother's situation. He's going through a difficult time and family needs to help family. I sat down. What situation? Marcus wouldn't meet my eyes. I'm having some temporary cash flow issues. Dad thinks maybe you could help out. Help out how? Just a small loan. $12,000. I'll pay you back. Marcus told us about his financial troubles, my mother said. It's not his fault. His company had some restructuring and his commission got delayed. These things happen. But he needs help with his obligations and we think you should contribute. Contribute to what obligations? I asked innocently. Marcus shot me a warning look. His payments, my father said vaguely. Adult obligations. The point is he needs $12,000 and we're asking the family to chip in. Why can't you loan him the money? I asked. We're retired, Sarah. We're on a fixed income. You're young, you're working. So is Marcus. He has a real job, at a prestigious firm. Why can't he cover his own obligations? Sarah, don't be difficult, my mother said. I'm not being difficult. I'm trying to understand why Marcus needs to borrow money when he supposedly makes so much more than me. He said just last week that he makes double what I make. So where's his money? Marcus's face was red. That's none of your business. But asking me for $12,000 is your business? Sarah, my father said sternly. Your brother needs help. Stop being petty. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. I turned the screen toward them. Here's my transaction history for the past 14 months. Every month, $12,400 paid to Jennifer Patterson. That's Marcus's ex-wife. In total, I've paid $173,600 to cover Marcus's alimony and child support because he couldn't afford it. The room went completely silent. What? My mother whispered. Marcus has been lying to all of you, I continued. He can't afford his lifestyle. He can't afford his divorce obligations. So I've been paying them for over a year while he spent Sunday dinners telling me to get a real career. My father was staring at Marcus. Is this true? Marcus's mouth opened and closed. It's complicated. It's not complicated, I said. You've been living beyond your means and I've been covering for you. But as of Friday I stopped. So now you actually have to deal with your reality instead of pretending to be successful while I subsidize your life. How can you afford that? My mother asked faintly. You said you barely make anything. I lied. I make about 6 times what Marcus makes. Last year I earned $520,000. This year I'm on track for $800,000. That's impossible, my father said. You're a freelance writer. I'm a ghostwriter for best-selling books. I write for CEOs, celebrities and public figures. My last 3 books all hit the New York Times bestseller list. I just signed a $1.2 million contract for 2 more books. Marcus had gone pale. You never said. You never asked. You were too busy telling me I was worthless. Too busy mocking my freelance nonsense. Too busy insisting I needed a real career like you. But why did you pay my alimony? Marcus asked. If you hated me so much. Because Jennifer and the kids needed it. Because you have children who deserve support. But I'm done now. You need to figure this out yourself. Resolution, 300 to 500 words. My mother was crying. Sarah, why didn't you tell us? I tried to. Every time I mentioned my work, you dismissed it. Every time I tried to explain what I do, you changed the subject. You decided my career wasn't real and nothing I said would have changed your minds. But you let us think you were struggling, my father said. You wanted to think I was struggling. It made you feel better about your golden child. The successful son with the real job and the real career. Except it was all fake. His success, his lifestyle, his whole image. It was built on my money. Marcus stood up abruptly. I need some air. Sit down, my father commanded. We're not done here. Marcus sat. Is it true? Dad asked him. Everything Sarah said? Yes, Marcus whispered. I couldn't keep up with the payments. The divorce destroyed my finances, but I couldn't let anyone know. I couldn't look like a failure. So you let your sister, the sister you belittled every week, pay your bills in secret? I didn't know it was her. I don't know what I thought. I just saw the payments going through and I assumed it was some kind of automatic system. You assumed magic was paying your alimony? I said incredulously. I didn't think about it too hard, Marcus admitted. I was just grateful it was handled. My mother looked at me. Sarah, you've been paying $12,400 every month for over a year? Yes. That's more than our mortgage was. I know. And you did it while Marcus mocked you every Sunday. Every single Sunday. She turned to Marcus, her face hardening in a way I'd never seen before. You will apologize to your sister. Right now. Mom. Now, Marcus. He turned to me, his face a mixture of shame and anger. Sarah, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were helping me. And I'm sorry for what I said about your career. You're not sorry for what you said, I corrected. You're sorry you got caught. You're sorry your comfortable delusion collapsed. But you're not actually sorry for spending over a year insulting me while I kept your life from falling apart. That's not fair. It's completely fair. You know what's not fair? Telling someone their job is worthless while they're spending $173,600 to cover your responsibilities. My father cleared his throat. Marcus, you need to figure out how to pay your own obligations. And Sarah. He looked at me with something that might have been respect. We owe you an apology too. We've been dismissing you for years, and apparently you've been more successful than any of us realized. Than any of you bothered to discover, I corrected. Fair enough. I stood up. I'm going to go now. Marcus, you have until Monday to figure out Jennifer's payment. That's your problem now, not mine. Sarah, wait, my mother said. Don't leave angry. Stay for dinner. I don't think so. I've spent enough Sunday dinners being insulted. I think I'll skip the next few. When will we see you again? She asked. When you're ready to actually respect me, I said. Not because you found out I make good money, but because I'm your daughter and I deserve basic respect regardless of my income. I walked out to my car. My phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. I really am sorry. Can we talk? I didn't respond. Another text came in, this time from my agent. Publisher wants to move up the deadline. Can you deliver the manuscript 2 months early for an extra $200,000? I smiled and texted back. Absolutely. Send the revised contract. I drove home to my apartment, the one my family thought was evidence of my failure but was actually a rent-controlled gem in a neighborhood that had gentrified around me, now worth 3 times what I paid. I sat down at my desk, opened my laptop and got back to work. Real work. The kind that had earned me over $500,000 while my successful brother secretly depended on my charity. The next Sunday I didn't go to dinner. Neither did the Sunday after that. Marcus called twice. My mother called 5 times. I didn't answer. Eventually my father texted, your brother is in therapy. Working on his issues with money and honesty. He wanted you to know. We all miss you. When you're ready, we'd like to really listen to you. About your work, your life, all of it. We're sorry we never did before. I stared at the message for a long time before responding. I appreciate that. I need more time. Some lessons needed to hurt before they stuck. My family had learned what I was worth. In dollars, in talent, in patience. Now they had to learn whether they deserved to have me in their lives at all. That lesson was still in progress.